Hello and welcome to this tutorial on the component tools in PRISMS. As we covered in the Search and Browse tutorial, in order to view editions in PRISMS, you need to first add them to your workbench. Once texts are in your workbench, there are a range of tools available to you to work with them. To access the tools, click on the toolbox icon. There is an icon for each edition component, for component-specific tools, and an icon at the top of the workbench for tools relating to all the editions on your workbench, a mini corpus toolbox. Let's start with the edition component tools. The type of tools available depend on the type of component. In an HTML view of a full text, you can access a navigation menu, a table of contents, a summary of the annotation functionality, an option to identify named entities, and a link to Voyant Tools. Voyant Tools is an open-source digital humanities resource used for statistical analysis of texts. Clicking on this link automatically loads the text in Voyant Tools as an extra component within PRISMS. Various text analysis tools are then available, such as word frequency counts, topic modeling, word clouds, and so on. Voyant Tools actually works better when launched from the XML version of the transcription, as it is then able to identify and ignore all the markup. The XML components of an edition are loaded in an XML-aware editor where they can be reviewed, edited, and downloaded, making it easy to access and reuse the XML. Going back to the annotation tools, selecting any text produces a pop-up with three options. The magnifying glass will search PRISMS for the selected word or phrase, allowing you to link the word to an existing entity. For example, you might want to mark up all the names and link each one to a particular entity to be sure the correct specific individual is being identified, for example, William Pitt the Younger and not the Elder. You can do that by selecting the name and then clicking the magnifying glass. All existing occurrences will be retrieved, and you can choose to use one of the existing entities or to create a new one of your own. The speech bubble allows you to add a comment. Once added, the word is underlined, and clicking on it will retrieve the comment. The two-way arrows allow you to encode a relationship between two sections of the text. Simply drag the red dot to the passage that is connected and choose the type of relationship from the drop-down list. Facsimile images also have an annotation tool. Hold down Shift while dragging your mouse to draw a shape. Single-click to create a corner, double-click to complete the shape. You can then annotate that area and the area becomes a link. Clicking on it retrieves your annotation. All annotations and relationships are stored in the W3C web annotation data format and can be exported for use in other contexts. So that is an overview of the current tools on offer for individual editions. We are always keen to learn of any additional tools you would like to see in PRISMS and encourage you to help shape the PRISMS roadmap by feeding back your requirements and ideas. We'll move on now to the workbench tools that are available from the toolbox icon at the top of the workbench. These tools, which are modelled on scholarly primitives, that is core and universal scholarly activities, provide an overview of your activity within PRISMS. You can review a list of editions you have bookmarked. You can see a list of all your annotations, allowing you to easily retrieve them and your notebooks. You can also organise your workspace by aligning the windows as you choose, and take a workbench snapshot, allowing you to easily recreate the exact layout at a later date. The list of the snapshots you've taken appears immediately underneath, and this is useful when you work on different sets of texts and allows you to quickly pick up back where you left off. In the top right is a list of connections that you have created. This is to do with the graph view, and we'll come back to that in the tutorial on graphs. Depending on the type of contribution made, you have the option to share publicly, to download, or to delete them. You will only be able to submit contributions once you have added your contact details in the Settings tab, as all contributions need to be attributable. And all shared contributions will have a manual check prior to being made public. This is to ensure the integrity of the underlying knowledge graph. Depending on the type of work you are doing, you may wish to set all your contributions to be automatically made public. If you choose to do this, thank you. You've made a contribution to free open access to scholarly resources. The User Settings tab can also be used to find your user ID. The user ID is saved in your browser, allowing your workbench layout and annotations to be retained between sessions. You can use this user ID to carry your settings between different computers. You can find out how in the Help section. This brings us to the end of the tutorial on text-based tools. The tool we have not yet covered is the graph or network view. The graph underpins all of PRISMS and is the technology which allows it to be so flexible with user-added content. It is based on the semantic web, and users of PRISMS are invited to add more relationships to this network of information. We'll show you how in the tutorial on the graph view. Thank you for listening.